Northern Ontario is facing a combination of a declining and aging population. While the Indigenous population is young and growing, we still need to attract people to the north to maintain employment and enhance opportunities. Minister Baines of Industry Canada said recently in Thunder Bay that the Atlantic Immigration Pilot is a model that should be considered for the north. What is your position on a northern and rural regional immigration nominee pilot? Would your government support the province participating in such a pilot? Starting with Ms. Wynne.
Thanks very much, Al. I believe that it's very important to have a regional economic development strategy. I think that because of the differences in Ontario, geographic, demographic, it's very important, which is why, for example, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund exists, because we want to make sure that there are ways to invest specifically in northern priorities, and that the NOHFC will increase to $150 million as per our budget and our commitment. But we are in conversation with the federal government on the nominee program. We recognize that there is a need for more allocation to Ontario in a regional way, and yes, I would be very supportive of a pilot that would look at how can we attract the people who are needed, the skills that are needed around this province, whether it's in agriculture in the near north, or whether it's in mining, or whether it's in other sectors. We need to make sure that that regional strategy exists. We've begun it at the provincial level, but we would certainly be open to working with the federal government on that.
Thank you. Ms. Horwath?
Thanks, Al. Absolutely, and in fact, I don't know why that hasn't already been undertaken. It's been a long time that this government's been in office, and these things should have already been addressed. And so yes, straight up, yes, we would absolutely be looking at working with you to put a pilot project in place, and then to, if it's working, expand it. But look, we need communities that also are able to sustain families over time. I mean, we see a Liberal government that's cut health care, that's cut services, that got rid of the Northlander, that's standing by where we're about to lose a short rail line between Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury called the Huron Central Railway. I mean, we need infrastructure, whether it's schools staying open in your community so that those people that come are able to have education for their kids, healthcare for their families, or whether it's making sure that we can move, goods around and keep the economy going. We saw the Liberal government basically give away a public communications company on a very short price, and now we have communities around the Sudbury area that are not only not able to get broadband, but not able to get cell service anymore. These are the kinds of investments we need. We need investments in broadband. We need investments in infrastructure. We need to make sure that the roads and highways are safe for people. We need highway expansion. These are the kinds of things that will help those people that we attract to come to the northern communities to stay here and build a good life here. And also, hopefully, keep some of our young people here as well, and not have them forced to go down south for economic opportunity.
Thank you. Start the open debate. Ms. Wynne?
I'd be more than happy.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Ford, proceed.
I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to the folks and look at a pilot project. But number one, I'm a pretty generous guy. I'm taking care of our own first. And once we take care of our own and we exhaust every single avenue, and we don't have anyone that can fulfill the job, then I'd be open to that. I went across the north, and I've talked to small business owners, and 85% of the people that are employed up here are employed by small business owners. They're telling me that this Bill 148 is absolutely killing them every single place I go to. I had to lay off 4 people, I had to lay off 3 people. Guess what the total is? The total is 60,000 people have lost their jobs. Young people aren't coming back. They're leaving their homes. They aren't coming back to the north. We have an opportunity of a lifetime in the north. We have all the resources. We have some of the brightest people when it comes to forestry and mining and business. But they need the opportunity. I've heard one thing: cut this red tape and regulations. I talked to an owner of a gold mine, and it's taken him 7 years to get permits. We're going to cut through the red tape, get rid of the regulation. I'm going to make sure we have proper transportation to get from point A, from Cochrane, down to Toronto if they ever want to visit. I'm going to reinstate the Northlander. Kathleen, you got rid of the Northlander, and Andrea, you sat by and did nothing. You didn't defend the people when it came to the Northlander.
Wrong,
you
Doug.
just agreed with your
Wrong.
counterpart. Actually, I still have
Absolutely
a couple
wrong, Doug.
seconds left, Andrea. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the economy booming up here. I'm going to work with the colleges for trades because there's a lack of tradespeople. I went to a welding company the other day. They didn't have enough people that could weld. We have to start getting involved, working cohesively with the colleges up here and industry.
So that bulldozer's just going to go right across the north, right?
I'm
Doug?
creating, you know
So
something, I'm
let me-
creating
let me
real
just-
jobs.
Let me just talk a little bit about transportation because I think it's really important. And infrastructure, the $500 million that we're putting in place for broadband is critical infrastructure for the north.
Why
and
did you
rural
get rid of the
communities.
Northlander
And
then,
So let's
Kathleen?
talk about the Northlander.
Let's talk about the fact that public transit is
You agreed
subsidized
with
in
it.
the
Can we
south,
talk about
and it
it?
should be
Can we talk
subsidized in
about
the
the
north as well.
so let me just
Absolutely,
Two
it
the
should be
same.
subsidized in
They
the north
both
as
cut
well.
the Northlander.
So
I'm
when I
bringing natural gas
when I
up to the
came
north.
into this office, we were on the verge as a government of selling off the ONTC. We didn't do that. We didn't do that because Michael Gravel and I worked and we made sure that we kept ONTC. And in fact, what we are doing is we are expanding ONTC. We're expanding the transportation network, which, folks, has only been in the Northeast, as you know, to the Northwest, so that there will be connection, bus connection between all of the communities where the big
But I heard
private
at Noma
companies
that you
won't,
didn't make
won't
that
provide
commitment in your
routes.
budget that
So
they were asking for
it
the
is
Northwest.
$5.6 million.
They told me
it's in
it
our
wasn't.
budget. Well, I told folks at Noma last week it's $5.6 million. It's in the budget. Councillor Angus in Thunder Bay asked the question, and it is in the budget. So we want a transportation system that works for the whole north. That's why we're expanding ONTC. And that short rail line, Andrea, as recently as 2 months ago, we put $800,000 more into that short line. I get how transportation is so important in the north. That's why we're making specific and
Why did you say then
higher
that the
investments.
Northlander was a bad business investment? It was a bad business. There was no business case for the Northlander passenger train. Look, there is no business case for public transit in the south either. It is all publicly subsidized, and so it should be. But why do
And
Northerners?
so that's why we
Andrea?
didn't sell it
End of the
off.
stick
That's why
by
we
not
didn't sell it off,
ensuring
Andrea.
that
We're
there is
expanding
a
ONTC.
northern
Andrea,
train,
where were you? Where were you?
Northern
That's why we
passenger train.
expanded it.
I mean,
So
no,
that
but you didn't.
Cochrane-
You got rid of the northern
Let 'em argue.
train,
But
the
Andrea,
passenger
that's-
train, the Northlander. You can't say that you expanded it when it's gone.
Andrea,
it
it's
doesn't
one,
serve
that's
people
you're
anymore.
true. That's one train. You're right. We've refurbished the Cochrane to Moosonee train,
But
and
people
and
utilize
we're
that
expanding.
service.
Yeah, but
and you cut it.
but it was the Northeast, Andrea. We need a service across the whole north,
I would agree.
and
we
that's
need
why we're
services
expanding
across the
ON
north. 15 years later, we don't have them.
It's already being expanded, Andrea. It's in the budget. It's happening now across the whole north.
Andrea, where were you when Kathleen canceled the Northlander?
Where were you, Doug?
You didn't say anything.
Where
He
were
was
you?
on his
That's what
bulldozer.
I
You know
wanna
what I was doing?
You're the new one to the party here, my friend.
I was working for the taxpayers, saving over $1 billion for
You
the
know that's not
taxpayer.
true. You know
My
it
friend,
wasn't
that's
true.
what I do. I save the taxpayers
You cut
money.
public transit
You
in
didn't even
Toronto,
fight
Mr.
for the
Ford.
Northlander.
You cut public
cut
The
transit.
same of the
33 bus
same.
routes.
The same of the
33
same.
bus routes cut in
I know,
Toronto.
33 bus routes. I've saved the taxpayers $1 billion.
33 bus
You've
routes.
cost them billions and billions and billions of dollars, 300,000 jobs, hydro rates, gas prices, tax, spend,
Thank
spend,
you.
spend.
Thank you. Now we'll proceed to the closing remarks. We'll proceed to the closing remarks from the three leaders, starting with Ms. Horvath.
Thanks very much, Al. I want to say thank you very much for the fun hour or so that we've had together. What I want to say in my closing remarks is just this. We don't have to do the same thing over and over again here in this province. We can actually bring change for the better for Northerners and Northern communities, and that's what New Democrats are offering. We don't have to bounce back and forth between Liberals and Conservatives. Can you imagine if you actually have a government that's consulting with you and listening to you before decisions are made, that's solving problems instead of creating problems, that's not only bringing in things like full universal pharmacare and dental care to help everyone, getting rid of hallway medicine, but addressing the road maintenance problems that continue to occur, addressing the high gas prices, making sure that your communities are on equal footing and can thrive again. Change for the better, my friends. That's what I offer.
Thank you. Ms. Wynne. Premier Wynne.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here, and we got a bit lively there at the end. That's okay. It's important. This is a really important election. This is an election where people in this province are going to be asked to choose between investing more in the people of this province, investing in the care that they need, in long-term care, in child care, in specific health care, personal support workers, long-term care that's needed in the north and in other parts of the province, a choice between that and cutting. That's the reality. And so I would just say to all of you, thank you for all of the work that we have done together over the last number of years. I look forward to continuing to build this part of the province up. And there are huge success stories in the north. You know, the fact that you've increased your job numbers month over month, you're growing, you're expanding, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you so very much for your attention today. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Mr. Ford.
My friends, thank you for coming today. I can tell the people from the north and across Ontario on June the 7th, help is on its way. We've seen again mismanagement, scandals, waste, backroom deals, billions of dollars of waste. We are the most indebted region in the world, the largest subnational debt in the entire world. That is shameful. $346 billion. Think about that. We're paying over $12 billion a year. When we're elected, the party's over with the taxpayers' money. We're going to make sure that we reduce hydro rates. We're going to make sure we reduce taxes on small businesses. We're going to reduce taxes on middle-income families and people that earn minimum wage. I'll tell you, prosperity is on its way, opportunity is on its way, and growth is on its way, the likes this province has never seen before. We will create good-paying jobs. Thank you for coming today, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks.
Thanks, Doug.
Still like that smile.
Thanks, Doug.